the guy who left DeepMind, the English, I think his name was Clinton, I always forget his name, but I think it made a really interesting point. He said there was an existential threat because every bot knew instantly. So he had 10,000 bots. Every bot would know what the other 9,999 knew, and that potentially posed a threat, because with humans you could not do that. I mean, I think the most interesting thing is if I could have 8,500 bots, human bots inside S4 or MediaMonks, life would be much easier. So everybody instantly knew what everybody else knew. So whilst he viewed that as an existential threat, I see it as being an opportunity. Maybe I'm out to lunch, but I think it's hugely. Ray Dalio is a fund manager, probably the most successful hedge fund manager, Bridgewater, and I understand he's created a Ray Dalio chatbot. He writes tremendous books. I mean, the writing's not great, but the charts are fantastic. The data is super good, and the thought that people will be able to leverage his knowledge inside Bridgewater, which is his hedge fund company, is remarkable. So I think that's what you have to do. You have to try and leverage the knowledge. So no, I don't think it's been overhyped. Many people think it has been, but I don't think so. I think it's fundamental. It's it's in the realm of change of blockchain. I'm not so keen on crypto. Don't get it. I'm in the Charlie Munger camp on that. I think metaverse is much pillaged and provoked, but I think it's super important. Work from home, work from anywhere, training, sports, entertainment, music. I mean, the huge application, healthcare, huge. I've got a cancer issue I'm dealing with at the moment, so I've seen a little bit of the applications there, and it's huge opportunity. So I would say blockchain, metaverse, AI, AGI, and then quantum computing, cloud computing. I mean, obviously that has huge ramifications. So no, I don't think so. If anything, probably I would argue it's been underhyped, which would be somewhat controversial. I think it's huge. I mean, the 5 areas we've said on visualization and copywriting, on hyper-personalization, on media planning and buying, on just a general efficiency tool for agency and client, and then democratization of knowledge, as we just discussed. But I think it's going to have huge implications. It will have huge implications for media planning and buying. If you look at the platforms, they're already building it for small and medium-sized enterprises. So you see it at Amazon, you see it at Meta, you see it at Alphabet. That they, who really, Jack Ma used to say Alibaba was the engine for the entrepreneur in China. I think the platforms are the engines for entrepreneurs, small and medium-sized businesses in the West too. I mean, 60% of their revenues or thereabout come not from Unilever and P&G. It comes from the small and medium-sized enterprise, the people that they saved. That doesn't go down well in some regulatory circles, but basically they saved these companies during COVID. They would have gone out, they would have been bust. They had no way of reaching the consumer. So I think this is the beginnings of the media planning and buying revolution that's going to take place. And ultimately, the relationship will become much more direct with the platforms, which is something the holding companies should rightfully be worried about, because it's going to happen. Because in the old days, it couldn't happen because the platforms didn't want to replicate the people necessary. Now you don't have to replicate the people because you can do it from an automated base. So that's going to happen, I think, big time. So if there are 250,000 people employed in media planning and buying, it's going to constrict. And we'll get, I don't know what it'll go down to, but the people who are left will be much more effective. They'll be much more incisive. They'll have much more knowledge, much more data, many more tools, and they'll do a better job. So I think all ends. It then poses the problem, whether AI is a net destroyer or a net creator of jobs. I probably tend towards the Keynesian view that we're going to have more holidays. I did this test with Ad Age. They posed 7 questions, I think it was, to me, and 7 to chatbot or Bard or whoever it was, and people were asked to differ. Where did the answer come from? So, CEOs would be redundant for Bob Iger to do what he's doing at Disney, turn the company really basically upside down. Certainly on the broadcasting side with ABC and Hotstar, tells you the depth of change. And although, you know, people are saying that the industry is going through a difficult time in the minute, when you actually look at it, you know, if ad spend is up 5, digital's up 7, 8, 9, 10, and analog is down, maybe not 7, 8, well, 7, 8, 9, 10 at the end, then maybe a little bit more. If you've got sport like Disney has with ESPN and like Fox has, you probably ameliorate it. But basically, it's a tough road. So you have to do what the agencies did, or try to do, which is to move as rapidly as they could into digital execution and digital, you know, sourcing. So finding the digital alternative in a world where digital is already 2/3 of media spend and likely to be 75% in a couple of years' time. You know, basically, the digital ad industry is in actually pretty decent shape, despite all the doom and gloom around it. And that part of it is, it's the traditional stuff that's really being squeezed. So to your question is very, very correct. I mean, it's very tough if you're trying to build a free-to-air network, certainly in an analog way. So you have to build up connected TV, targeted television, the streaming platforms. And there'll be consolidation of that over time, I'm sure. I mean, there are probably too many now. So we'll see. But I think it offers a lot of promise.